A single warship costs more than $13 billion. It carries 75 fighter jets. 5,000 sailors live on it for months without touching land. 2 nuclear reactors power this floating city that never needs refueling for 50 years. The flight deck launches aircraft at 150 miles per hour in less than 1 second using invisible magnetic force. This is the USS Gerald R. Ford, the most expensive and deadly weapon ever built by human hands. Right now, it's deployed in the Caribbean as part of America's largest military show of force in 3 decades. What happens inside this $13 billion killer machine will blow your mind. The Ford-class aircraft carrier represents everything America stands for: technological superiority, unwavering strength, and the ability to project power anywhere on Earth. But how exactly do our brave sailors operate this engineering marvel? How does a ship this massive launch planes faster than any carrier before it? Let's dive into the shocking reality of life aboard the world's most advanced warship. Introduction. The USS Gerald R. Ford isn't just big, it's a statement. At 1,092 feet long and displacing 100,000 tons when fully loaded, this nuclear-powered beast makes every other naval vessel look like a toy boat. Commissioned in July 2017, the Ford took nearly 2 decades to build and became operational after overcoming massive technological challenges. The Ford carries 23 brand-new technologies never seen on a carrier. From electromagnetic catapults to advanced weapons elevators, every system was designed to make American naval aviation faster, deadlier, and more efficient. The result? A warship that can launch 25% more aircraft per day while requiring 400 fewer crew members than older carriers. Our sailors don't just work on this ship. They operate the most complex weapon system ever created. From the nuclear reactor operators deep in the belly of the ship to the yellow-shirted flight directors on the deck, every person has a critical role. One mistake, one miscalculation, and lives are lost. But these men and women do it every single day with pride and precision. If you're proud of what our sailors accomplish, type proud in the comments below. The $13 billion price tag. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. $13.027 billion. Gerald R. Ford cost more than the GDP of some countries. To put this in perspective, an Arleigh Burke destroyer costs $2.5 billion. You could buy 5 destroyers for the price of 1 Ford-class carrier. So why spend this much? Because nothing else can do what a carrier does. The Ford is a mobile airbase that brings American air power to any coastline on the planet. It carries up to 75 aircraft, including FA-18 Super Hornets, F-35 Lightning fighters, and electronic warfare jets. These planes can strike targets hundreds of miles inland, while the carrier stays safely offshore. But the initial cost is just the beginning. Operating a carrier strike group costs $6.5 million per day. Over a typical 8-month deployment, the operational costs run into the billions. Maintenance adds another $700 million per ship over its lifetime. The original estimate in 2005 predicted $13 billion total. By 2013, Congress had to raise the cost cap to $12.9 billion. Technical problems with new systems pushed the final price even higher. By March 2018, construction costs hit $13.027 billion, making it officially the most expensive warship ever built. Critics argue the money could buy smaller, faster platforms like submarines and drones. But defenders point out that aircraft carriers have been the backbone of American power projection for 75 years. No other weapon system provides the same combination of firepower, flexibility, and intimidation. Our sailors know this better than anyone. The revolutionary electromagnetic catapult. Now let's get to the technology that makes this carrier truly revolutionary. For decades, aircraft carriers used steam catapults to launch planes. Massive pistons powered by superheated steam would yank aircraft from 0 to 150 miles per hour in 2 seconds. It worked, but it was brutal on airframes, required constant maintenance, and couldn't handle lightweight drones. Enter EMALS, the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System. This is where science fiction becomes reality. EMALS uses a linear induction motor instead of steam. Imagine a 300-foot long electromagnetic railgun built into the flight deck. When it's time to launch, alternating electrical currents generate powerful magnetic fields that propel a shuttle down the track. The aircraft's nose gear hooks to this shuttle. Within 0.75 seconds, the magnetic force accelerates an 80,000-pound fighter jet to 150 miles per hour and flings it into the sky. The advantages are game-changing. EMALS provides smooth, controlled acceleration that reduces stress on aircraft by 20 to 30%. This means jets last longer and require less maintenance. The system can adjust power precisely for each aircraft, launching everything from heavy strike fighters to lightweight reconnaissance drones. Better yet, EMALS recharges in seconds, allowing rapid fire launches. The Ford can generate 160 sorties per day sustained, with surge capability of 270. That's 25% more than Nimitz-class carriers. But here's the catch. New technology means new problems. EMALS experienced serious reliability issues during the Ford's early years. System failures left the carrier unable to launch aircraft for days at a time. Critics questioned whether the billions spent on this technology were worth it. The sailors operating EMALS faced intense pressure. They had to master a completely new system while dealing with breakdowns that threatened the ship's mission. Fast forward to today, and the story has changed. After years of improvements, EMALS has matured into a reliable system. By April 2021, the Ford had completed 8,000 launch and recovery cycles. The system was certified for full operations in 2022. Our sailors turned a technological nightmare into a success story. Before we dive deeper, please take a second to like this video and subscribe. Over 98% of viewers watch without subscribing. It costs you nothing but makes a huge difference to us. Inside the nuclear heart. Deep below the flight deck lies the true power of the Ford. 2A, 1B nuclear reactors generate enough energy to power a small city. Each one produces 700 megawatts of thermal power, 25% more than the reactors on Nimitz-class carriers. This massive power output drives 4 propeller shafts that push the Ford through the ocean at speeds exceeding 30 knots. It also generates 125 megawatts of electrical power per reactor. That's enough electricity to run all the ship's systems, including EMALS, advanced radar, and future weapons like laser defense systems. The most incredible part? These reactors will run for 50 years without refueling. A sailor who serves on the Ford today could retire and die of old age before these reactors need new fuel. The ship has unlimited range and endurance. Operating these reactors requires the Navy's best and brightest. Nuclear-trained sailors go through 18 months of the most intense technical training in the military. 6 months at A school learning basic skills. 6 months of nuclear power school covering advanced physics and reactor engineering. 6 months at a prototype reactor facility getting hands-on experience. Only then are they trusted to operate the reactors on a carrier. There are 3 types of nuclear specialists. Machinists mates nuclear operate the steam turbines and propulsion systems. Electricians mates nuclear manage electrical power generation throughout the ship. Electronics technicians nuclear control the reactor itself, calibrating control rods and monitoring the nuclear fission process. These sailors work in the reactor spaces deep in the hull, often going weeks without seeing daylight. The environment is hot, loud, and demanding. They stand watch for hours, monitoring gauges and controls, ready to respond instantly to any problem. But they do it with pride. Nuclear operators receive bonuses up to $50,000 for first-time enlistment and $100,000 for re-enlistment. After leaving the Navy, their skills make them highly sought after in the civilian nuclear power industry. Flight deck operations. Now let's move topside to the flight deck, the most dangerous workplace in the world. This is where 50,000-pound jets meet a 4.5-acre runway moving at 30 miles per hour. Flight operations on the Ford are a carefully choreographed ballet of organized chaos. 75 aircraft need to launch, land, refuel, rearm, and maintain around the clock. One wrong move, and someone dies. That's why the color-coded jersey system exists. Yellow jerseys are aircraft directors and catapult officers. Green jerseys operate the catapults and arresting gear. Red jerseys handle weapons and ammunition. Purple jerseys manage aviation fuel. Blue jerseys move aircraft around the deck. Brown jerseys are plane captains. White jerseys include safety officers and medical personnel. In the noise and chaos of flight ops, you can't hear verbal orders. Visual identification is everything. Here's how a typical launch works. 45 minutes before launch time, pilots conduct pre-flight checks. 30 minutes out, engines start and systems come online. 15 minutes before launch, aircraft taxi to the catapults. The ship turns into the natural wind. A yellow-shirted catapult officer positions the aircraft precisely on the shuttle. Green-shirted sailors hook the jet's nose gear to the EMAL shuttle, while a massive blast deflector rises behind the aircraft. Final checkers do a last walk-around inspection. They check control surfaces, landing gear, and weapons. Once cleared, red-shirted ordnancemen arm live missiles and bombs. One small mistake here could blow a hole in the deck. The pilot advances the throttle to full power. Engines scream at maximum thrust. The catapult officer gives the signal. The pilot salutes. In that instant, EMALS fires. Magnetic force accelerates the 40,000-pound fighter jet from 0 to 150 miles per hour in less than 1 second. The G-force slams the pilot back into the seat. In the blink of an eye, the aircraft is airborne and climbing away from the ship. This happens dozens of times per day. Launch. Recover. Launch. Recover. The cycle never stops during operations. Sailors work 12 to 18-hour shifts, grabbing sleep whenever possible. Many go weeks without seeing daylight. The flight deck is brutal. Jet engines blast 100-mile-per-hour winds. One wrong step and you're blown overboard. Aircraft weigh tens of thousands of pounds and can crush you instantly. Spinning propellers and jet intakes will kill you before you realize what happened. The noise is so loud you need double ear protection. Yet our sailors do this job with precision and pride. They know that American air superiority depends on their ability to launch and recover aircraft safely. They are the best in the world at what they do. Life aboard the floating city. Living on the Ford for months at a time is unlike anything civilians can imagine. This floating city houses 5,000 people in a space smaller than some shopping malls. Privacy doesn't exist. Personal space is a luxury. Berthing compartments pack 60 or more sailors into rooms designed for 40. Bunks stack 3 high with barely enough room to roll over. The ship never stops moving, never stops making noise. Engines hum. Machinery clanks. Jets thunder overhead. You learn to sleep through it, or you don't sleep at all. The crew works in rotating shifts to keep the ship operational 24 hours a day. Some sailors stand watch for 4 hours, sleep for 4 hours, then go back on watch. During intense operations, workdays stretch to 18 hours or more. Food becomes incredibly important when you're deployed for 8 months. The ship's galleys serve 18,000 meals per day. Cooks work around the clock preparing breakfast, lunch, dinner, and midnight rations. Fresh fruits and vegetables run out after a few weeks. After that, it's frozen or canned food for the duration. Entertainment options are limited. There's a small gym, recreation rooms, and the ship's store. Sailors watch movies, play video games, or just sit and talk during their rare free time. Communication with family is difficult. The ship has limited internet bandwidth shared among 5,000 people. Email works when you can get access, but it's slow. Phone calls home are rare and expensive. Many sailors go weeks without talking to their loved ones. Despite the hardships, most sailors speak with pride about their service. They form bonds closer than family. When you live and work with the same people for months in close quarters, facing danger together every day, you develop relationships that last a lifetime. The carrier becomes your home. Your shipmates become your family. Port calls provide much-needed breaks. When the Ford pulls into a foreign port, sailors get liberty to explore the city, eat local food, and experience normal life. These brief respites keep morale up during long deployments. Current operations and strategic importance. Right now, as you watch this video, the USS Gerald R. Ford is deployed in the Caribbean. In late October 2025, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered the carrier to leave Croatia and head south. This deployment marks America's largest military buildup in the Caribbean in 30 years. The mission is clear. Project American Power in the Western Hemisphere. Support counter-narcotics operations. Send a message that the United States Navy can appear anywhere, anytime. This is what carriers do. They are sovereign American territory that can park off any coastline and launch airstrikes within hours. No permission needed. No foreign bases required. Just pure, mobile American air power. The Ford's recent deployment history shows its growing importance. In May 2023, it left Norfolk for its maiden worldwide deployment. When conflict erupted in Israel in October 2023, the Ford extended its deployment and moved to the eastern Mediterranean as a deterrent. That deployment lasted 262 days. The Ford logged over 10,000 sorties, sailed more than 83,000 nautical miles, and worked with 17 different nations. The crew spent 8 months away from home, including Christmas and New Year's at sea. In June 2025, the Ford deployed again to the Mediterranean. Then came the order to redeploy to the Caribbean, where it arrived in November. This rapid repositioning demonstrates the carrier's strategic flexibility. 1 week it's in European waters, the next week it's in the Caribbean. Critics argue that modern anti-ship missiles and hypersonic weapons make carriers vulnerable. China and Russia have developed sophisticated systems designed to keep carriers away from their coasts. But carrier defenders point out that the Ford never operates alone. It leads a carrier strike group that includes guided missile cruisers, destroyers, and submarines, forming protective layers around it. Advanced radar systems can track threats hundreds of miles away. Electronic warfare systems jam enemy sensors. The carrier is well protected. More importantly, carriers provide capabilities nothing else can match. They bring sustained air power to regions where the United States has no bases. They conduct humanitarian missions after natural disasters. They evacuate Americans from war zones. They show the flag and reassure allies that America stands with them. Our sailors aboard the Ford know they're part of something bigger than themselves. They're the tip of the spear for American foreign policy. Conclusion. The USS Gerald R. Ford is more than a $13 billion ship. It's 5,000 sailors working as one to project American strength anywhere on the planet. From nuclear reactor operators to flight deck crews, every sailor plays a vital role. 9 more Ford-class carriers are planned, ensuring American naval dominance for the next 50 years. When crises erupt, presidents ask one question: where are the carriers? If this video showed you something new about our incredible sailors, hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. The $13 billion killer machine proves one thing: American naval power is unmatched, and our sailors make it all possible.